Good afternoon, not that kind of Christian here. I have come across an absolutely brilliant podcast called The Modesty Files. I might see if I can actually link it on here so you can listen to the latest episode. The reason I'm going to talk about it today is because, well, it's about what happens as a result of fundamentalist Christianity being shoved down people's throats. But more than anything, it talks about the fears that fundamentalist Christians like this guy here, notice his short on the left, talks about the kind of fears that he plays on. Now, obviously, here's a brilliant one I like from Stephen Fry, which says, Church of England changed their morality every decade, says actor and broadcaster Stephen Fry. Well, whatever you say, Stephen Fry, I think you're amazing. Apart from anything, you're a gay man, and that's just fantastic. But you see, modesty. Now, there he is again, not the Pope. This is my favourite, Father Brett Murphy. Very evangelical sort of Christian, very Bible, very by the book. I wonder what he'd preach about modesty and all kinds of different things. But if you are open to a few bits from the Modesty Files podcast, I'm going to go through a few of them with you now, okay?
I love this conversation. Welcome back to the wild animals in the middle of the show. So, Jenny, we have so many questions for you, so why don't we start at the beginning? What was your upbringing like? Were you raised in a fundamentalist community?
That's the weird thing, because a lot of people who are raised fundamentalist or grow up fundamentalist have been there since the time they were born. And my family, it was a little bit different. My family wasn't really religious until about the time I hit kindergarten. My parents divorced, and my mom refound religion, which was something that she had when she was a kid. She had attended a Baptist church as like a bus kid. There was a bus that would come by and would pick up her and maybe some of her siblings, and they would go to the church. They could go to Sunday school or whatever. So she was religious when she was a kid, but then kind of fell out of it. And after my parents divorced, I guess she decided that was like a wake-up call that she needed to go back to God or something. So as far as I can tell, my early childhood was fairly normal, but then all of a sudden, once I hit kindergarten, no passing out Valentines in kindergarten, because you can't give other people Valentines because goes against God. I don't know to this day what goes against God means, but that's what I was told. No dressing up on Halloween. My mom had to work, obviously, once my parents divorced, and so she would take the day of Halloween off if it was a school day, and keep me home and keep my sister home, and we would just stay in the house with the lights off outside, like, it was in the middle of the apocalypse or something, so that nobody would come to our door. And we would watch like religious videos, or we would watch Sesame Street or something that didn't have any Halloween on it. I wasn't allowed to participate in any of that. When we got to Easter, there was no Easter egg hunts, no baskets, because Easter is supposed to be about Jesus, not about bunnies.
What I'm going to do with this one really is just leave it with kind of one main theme. And that is this whole idea that, first of all, her mother refound faith. She had divorced, everything had gone seriously wrong in her life, and I guess for one reason or another, well, whatever floats your boat, she had reconverted. So there's that part that I think becomes really important in Jenny's story. But I am acutely aware that we are getting towards the month of October, and we are getting towards All Hallows Eve, or Halloween. Isn't it so familiar how many fundamentalist Christian families, they won't allow anyone to do anything around Halloween? They're certainly not they're not going to celebrate it, they're not even going to have a bit of fun, have a bit of a fright, do some ghoulies and ghosties and hand out a few bits of chocolate and candy. Make sure your kids are supervised, and maybe even read some of the more horrifying bits in Harry Potter. Nope, because as far as they're concerned, It is a festival of darkness. Some of them, well, you're going to get some Christian vicars like some you'd have seen on that initial clip I put in there at the beginning, who will not even have kids dressing up in Halloween costumes in their schools. All I'm going to do now then is to say to you, if you want to listen to the whole thing, I'll see if I can put a link in, and then of course you can listen to the whole thing. But one really final point that she makes very near the end of the podcast is that a lot of these Christians who believe in this fundamentalist kind of way are totally wrong about LGBTQI plus people, possibly because they have never ever met one. They believe that LGBTQI plus people are like some glitter sparkled Halloween monster kind of creature who immediately pose a threat to them, their kids, their faith, their life, and the whole society that they live in. Bye folks, hope you enjoy.